It's all covered in today's China Truths.
The mountains of northern Pakistan are meant to be serene, untouched by conflict. But this September, the Karakoram Highway, once celebrated as the road of friendship, erupted into chaos. Local traders blocked Chinese trucks bound for the Hunza Pass, accusing Beijing of flooding markets and crushing livelihoods. When police moved in, stones flew, tear gas filled the air, and 2 Chinese nationals were caught in the turmoil. A video went viral within minutes, showing Chinese workers waving the CCP flag, shouting for protection as Pakistani police pushed back, a scene that spread across the nation like wildfire. For decades, China and Pakistan called each other Iron Brothers, building roads, ports, and dreams under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC. But that day, friendship crumbled. Anger, mistrust, and disappointment replaced loyalty. The clash wasn't just a protest. It was a decade of frustration, broken promises, unbalanced trade, and growing resentment toward a partner many Pakistanis now see as exploiting their land rather than helping it. The Iron Brotherhood had cracks, and the fire was just starting. The Karakoram Highway was once a symbol of unity. Built in the 1970s by Chinese and Pakistani engineers, it connected Xinjiang's deserts to Gilgit-Baltistan's valleys. When CPEC was launched, this road became its backbone. Billions poured in. Ports, highways, power plants, and special economic zones were promised from Gwadar to Kashgar. Pakistani leaders called it a new Silk Road, a ticket to prosperity. A decade later, the dream had turned to dust. Stalled projects, mounting debts, and corruption devouring the profits. In Gwadar, where a world-class port was promised, streets remain unpaved. Locals call it the Dubai that never came. Fishermen watched helplessly as Chinese trawlers emptied the seas. In the north, small traders along the Karakoram Highway watched their markets collapse under cheap Chinese imports. "They sell what we used to make. We can't compete," one merchant said. What began as shared prosperity had become imbalance, even within Pakistan's government. Economists warned that $25 billion in debt to China was unsustainable. Politicians admitted the benefits flowed one way, straight to Beijing. Roads were built, but direction was lost. By mid-2024, frustration turned into resistance. In Balochistan, thousands joined the Gwadar rights movement, demanding fair trade and jobs. Police fired on protesters, leaving several wounded. Banners praising China were torn down. Streets echoed with chants, "Give us our rights, not your loans." Fishermen blocked roads for weeks, halting Chinese supply lines. Beijing went silent, and Pakistan's government deployed troops to restore order. Images of police guarding Chinese officers shocked the nation. Further north, trade unions organized protests along the Karakoram Highway. Chinese trucks were stopped repeatedly, and each police intervention fueled anger. "They built these roads for themselves, not for us," a driver said. By late 2025, hashtags like Chakunchakrian, boycott, and CPEC trended online. Videos of Chinese workers under police protection painted Beijing as an occupying force rather than a partner. For the first time, Pakistan's mainstream media questioned whether CPEC was a gift or a trap. Beijing's response was muted. State media called it temporary difficulties, but the silence spoke volumes. The decade-long friendship faced its first storm. Loans had brought roads and power plants, but also control over ports, mining, and industries. Every repayment reminded Pakistan of its growing dependency. Analysts now call it debt diplomacy with local flavor. Projects delayed or abandoned still required repayment. Every kilometer of road built under CPEC, a reminder of bills Pakistan could not afford. The mood shifted from celebration to caution. Officials admitted Chinese funds had slowed while repayments continued. Ministers whispered that China's promises were strategic investments, not aid. What was once friendship had become quiet dependency. Meanwhile, resentment spread through Pakistan's middle class. CPEC was meant to create jobs, but most went to Chinese workers. Profits returned to Beijing. While the public bore the cost, elite politicians and military officers reaped the benefits. The dream of shared prosperity had become a bitter reality. Politics in Pakistan are shifting, and the balance is cracking. China's growing footprint, from power grids to surveillance systems, has stoked fears of lost sovereignty. Local journalists call it economic occupation in slow motion, while Islamabad's silence fuels suspicion that its leaders have traded independence for survival. Across the ocean, Washington has noticed. After years of absence, the U.S. is back with offers of energy projects and mineral investments. Officials frame it as sustainable partnership, but the timing is telling. As China's grip weakens, the U.S. is quietly reclaiming ground it once ceded. Pakistan was supposed to prove the Belt and Roads promise. Instead, it has become a warning. Roads and ports cannot buy loyalty, especially when they carry the weight of debt. In Gwadar, hope has turned to anger. Fishermen say Chinese firms now treat them as outsiders in their own land. They took our port, our jobs, even our fish, one said. We were promised Dubai-style prosperity. Look around. This is still poverty. Across Pakistan's southern coast, resentment toward Beijing is loud and visible, no longer whispered behind closed doors. Further north, in Gilgit-Baltistan, traders tell the same story. Chinese dominance in trade has wiped out local businesses. Everything we sell comes from China. We can't compete, one shopkeeper said. Once isolated voices are now shaping a national debate. Analysts note a psychological shift. China, once seen as a neutral partner that respected Pakistan's politics, now looks controlling. Silence is interpreted as authority. Reports from CSIS and RAND describe Pakistan as a cautionary tale, proof that the CCP's strategy of loan, build, and control can backfire. What was a model project is now a warning sign. The tone is changing on the ground and abroad. American officials meet Pakistani ministers to discuss energy and mineral deals, especially in Balochistan. The U.S. claims it is offering choice, not replacement, but the competition is already clear. Ordinary Pakistanis feel caught in the middle. They have seen promises, slogans, debt, and disappointment. Maybe no one really comes to help us, a Gwadar teacher said. They come to help themselves. For decades, China called Pakistan its iron brother. Together, they built highways through mountains, ports by the sea, and promises spanning generations. But steel can rust, and friendships built on power can crack. Across Hunza, Gwadar, and Gilgit-Baltistan, optimism has given way to caution. Fishermen lose boats, traders lose customers, workers lose wages. The CCP's vision of shared prosperity has become a story of imbalance. One nation builds, the other borrows. Officials now avoid the word partnership, speaking instead of managing expectations. What was once the crown jewel of the Belt and Road is now a case study in mistrust. The more China clings, the faster Pakistan slips away. From Washington to Tokyo, the world is watching. The U.S. has returned with a new path, offering leverage and alternatives. But the lesson runs deeper than geopolitics. Ambition without balance breeds resentment. The mountains still hold the Karakoram Highway, carved by two nations. The road that once symbolized unity now carries only echoes. Trucks move, but trust does not. The friendship built in steel has ended in silence. If you want to follow how China's global ambitions are unraveling, from South Asia to Africa, subscribe and stay with us. Every story reveals another piece of an empire in quiet decline. The Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, ICBC, wiped depositors' accounts to zero overnight. Money sitting in the bank suddenly vanished, terrifying and surreal. The bank's app showed zero assets. Countless people woke up to deleted balances and vanished wealth management products. Overnight, millions of yuan in accounts were gone. ICBC's systems appeared to collapse end-to-end. Savings and deposit figures evaporated in an instant. The bank blamed a technical fault, but a failure at this scale is nothing short of chilling. The account balance reads zero, but the credit card debt is still there. Panic tip: buy a safe at home. Every time there's a fault, customers lose money. When will our debts get a fault too? As a banker, I'm stunned. What cuts deepest is this: loans and liabilities remain intact while deposits disappear. That tells us two things: the deposit system and the loan system are separate, And while you can't escape what you owe, there's no guarantee your savings will survive. Late on October 29th into the early hours of October 30th, 2025, videos showed ICBC users' assets wiped to zero. Across the country, customers who logged into mobile and online banking saw savings, balances, wealth management, and fund holdings show 0.00 yuan. Some even reported missing credit card info. The outage lasted more than 10 hours and sparked widespread panic. People opened the app and felt their hands go cold. Deposits gone, mortgages still there. Why did this bug only zero deposits and not liabilities? How can China's biggest bank allow an error like this? Scrolling through social feeds, I saw people everywhere with accounts wiped. This is no longer just a technical glitch. It's a collapse of trust. We put money in banks for stability. Today, accounts turn to dust, and people go from property owners to penniless in seconds. Funds evaporate. The only consolation is that debts remain. Someone still owes, but your savings vanish. This isn't game currency. Today it's zero. Tomorrow it could read 1 billion. Like someone playing a simulation with other people's lives. ICBC is the country's biggest bank, not an arcade. So 3 questions to the bank. Are your servers reliable? Why can a profit giant not upgrade its systems? And when you clear accounts, who compensates us? Can we withdraw the cash? Can we actually access our money? You say technicians are working, often. But what about the woman buying vegetables who scans her code and nothing comes out? Will the shop let her leave with groceries? A bank can suffer a fault, but trust cannot be zeroed. If another bug appears and you actually cleared loans as well, I might have to give you a standing ovation. But until then, people are terrified, and rightfully so. After the massive incident yesterday, the app cleared all our balances, yet there wasn't a single official statement, not even one text message from the bank. So instead of waiting in pain, I chose short pain over long pain. I closed my account. At the counter, I said, "You cleared us to zero yesterday, right?" What a joke. They stayed silent. You know what? That silence made me even more determined to leave. If it was really a cyber attack or some other issue, the least they could do was send a message and explain. But they said nothing. Absolutely nothing. This exposes a terrifying flaw in the banking system. Your money sits in the bank, and then suddenly, it's gone. No warning, no explanation. Who wouldn't break into a cold sweat? And the scariest part? You think it's only ICBC, but any bank could face the same fate. Have you seen the news? The Bank of China, ICBC, the Agricultural Bank of China, China Construction Bank, and the Bank of Communications all announced the cancellation of their supervisory committees. What does that mean for us depositors? Anyone knows? When ICBC crashed, the internet exploded. Chinese netizens flooded social media with panic. One said, "Withdraw now, this is terrifying. What if it becomes real?" Another joked, "Maybe just a drill before the real thing." Someone else warned, "If deposits can be wiped, keep your certificates and passbooks safe." Another fumed, "Zeroed overnight and not even an apology. ICBC acts like it owns us." Others wrote, "Don't panic, just a rehearsal. It's only numbers, they can disappear anytime. Too scary, I'm withdrawing cash. And maybe today a drill, tomorrow reality."
Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will keep reporting on the COVID surge in China, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest videos. And thank you for tuning in.